Hi everyone, welcome to the best recapped movie. Resident Evil: Afterlife is the fourth part of the series of Resident Evil movies we share today. It is an action and horror film about the adventures of Alice, who, after the events we saw in the previous episode, now goes to Arcadia, the safe quarantine area in Alaska. Still, there is no safe place left in the world, and after that, the story meets exciting events. Spoilers ahead. It's raining increasingly in Tokyo, and at one of the city's main intersections, a girl who seems infected turns into a zombie and bites someone. Alice first explains that the T-virus was released at the Umbrella Corporation, which was researching the creation of environmental weapons, horribly killing its employees. Still, the problem was that they weren't actually dead. After 4 years in an underground military fortress in Tokyo, the people responsible for this great disaster that engulfed the world continue their research and feel safe. But this is not the case, and some of its watchers are killed suspiciously, so that the communication of the Umbrella network with all of them is cut off, which is a cause of concern for them. Albert Wesker, the chief officer of Umbrella, becomes aware of this and requests to communicate with the gatekeeper on ground level. In the beginning, the guard is killed by an attacker, and the agents notice that the elevator is descending from the ground level. Wesker sends in security teams to deal with the attackers. Still, before the elevator doors open, someone breaks in from above. That person is Alice, and no one can be seen in the elevator, and she attacks the security agents by surprise. With her incredible individual skills, she kills the security agents one after another. She destroyed another group behind her with supernatural energy due to the T-virus's effect on her body. A large number of people who are similar to Alice attack Umbrella, and it turns out that all of them are laboratory copies of her, who of course, came to help Alice in the fight with their unique characteristics, and of course, many of them were killed. Wesker orders that all entrance and exit doors be closed to prevent their penetration and that the environment be filled with nanogas. This idea of his doesn't work because they break into the fortress, and Wesker is forced to enter directly into the conflict and shoot at them. He kills one of them, and after checking her, he sees 2 grenades in her hands, which cause an explosion in Umbrella's main communication channel. He, who has no other choice, goes to his special plane with a scarred face and, after entering it, opens the overhead hatch to get out. Many copies of Alice arrive to stop him in this case, but his plane is bulletproof. After leaving, Wesker activates a nuclear bomb there. Even though they find out, it is too late, and a massive nuclear explosion destroys the place within a radius of kilometers and turns it into a burnt pit. Someone from behind, who seems to be Alice's real self, approaches Wesker and threatens him with death, but he suddenly injects a syringe into her neck. Wesker believes that this injection will turn off all her powers, such as strength, speed, and supernatural powers, and all the T-cells in her body will be destroyed. Alice attacks him but can no longer fight him, and in her last moment, before dying, she thanks him for giving her back her humanity. At this moment, Wesker realizes that the plane is hitting a mountain and runs into the control cabin to prevent this from happening. Still, it is impossible to prevent this accident, and a big explosion happens. Sometime after this incident, Alice seems to have survived the accident, and after 6 months, she receives a message from the Arcadia zone that it is safe and there is enough food and shelter for everyone. She takes a private plane to Alaska and remembers guiding her friends, including Claire Redfield and Kmart, to this area by giving them a guidebook and using a helicopter. She records a video of the location's coordinates near Arcadia, Alaska, but says there is no such area. Then Alice lands on a wide field and sees many private planes, which surprises her. After passing there and near the beach, she finds the helicopter with which her friends flew to Arcadia, and remembering her memories by the sea, she starts recording another video. She explains that now that 177 days have passed, she doubts whether to continue and thinks that seeing the end of the world is a punishment for her.
This is my punishment.
At the same time, Alice notices the movement of someone around her, calls her, and tries to find her. She reaches an empty plane full of crows, but when she returned, a woman punches her and tries to kill her. Alice can stop her, and a little later, she sees that it is Claire, one of her friends, who has a smart spider on her chest, and after touching that spider, the spider reacts by sticking in place. When night falls, Alice brought out it from Claire's body and, after regaining consciousness, asks her, "What is this, and who did this to you?" Claire doesn't seem to remember anything, and seems they are being controlled by a satellite. Alice, who sees no way out there, moves to San Francisco with Claire, and along the way, Claire, with her hands tied, tells her that she does not remember anything from the past. They enter the City of Angels, Los Angeles, and Alice announces through video recording that there is no sign of life there. Still, shortly after, incredibly, she sees some survivors on the roof of a building. While the city is full of zombies, Alice tries to land on that building. Angel Ortiz, who looks like a former soldier, informs the others that she is about to land and needs to be helped. Alice can barely handle this task when the plane's fuel runs out. She gets off the plane, and Luther West introduces himself to them, but Claire does not welcome him well. After him, Alice meets Crystal, Kim Yeon, and Bennett says, "Did you come to rescue?" They think Alice came from Arcadia and is a task force to save them, but she denies it and says there is no group at work. Then, while Luther talks about their hopes too much, Angel joins them and introduces himself to her. On the other hand, she notices that Luther's face is very familiar, and after a little conversation, he explains that he is a basketball player and shows her his advertising billboard on the other side. After some talk, Luther tells about their attempts to get their attention by lighting a fire, but Alice laughs and says that they are not here and that their headquarters is in Alaska. They are surprised by her words, and Angel gives her a camera. After seeing it, Alice realizes that Arcadia is not a city but a ship. She also informs Claire about this issue, and she seems aware. Claire remembers a part of the past and explains that several ships came to save them when they reached the shore in Alaska. Still, unfortunately, she does not remember after that. At night, Luther and Angel try to keep the zombies away from that place by using light, not knowing that some zombies have penetrated the building underground by advancing through the soil. Dinner time comes, and Crystal is the one who cooks for the group. She used to dream of becoming an actress in Hollywood to eliminate being a maid. Bennett comes and stands before them without taking turns to get dinner. Alice asks Luther about him, and he also explains that he used to be a famous film producer and Kim Yeon used to be his apprentice. However, he still doesn't understand that the world has changed. They spend dinner together until Alice reassures them that the plane is safe. Still, there is only room for 2 people, making it difficult to get out of the building, and they have to find another way. A little later, Luther takes her to a part of that building and explains that this place used to be a prison. He shows her an abandoned place where a person named Chris Redfield is imprisoned and guarded by a group member named Wendell. He says he hates guarding here because he keeps hearing strange noises from the door and walls, and Luther asks him to check it out together. After they leave, Chris tells Alice that he was imprisoned here by mistake and used to be a member of a military group that used this place as a resort.
I shouldn't be in here.
He explains, when these things happened, the group mistakenly imprisoned him in this place as a villain, and at the end, he asks Alice to free him because he knows the way out of there. Accompanied by Angel, Claire looks at the ship's deck from a distance with a camera but doesn't see anyone there. She tells him that her friends are probably outside, and her memory slowly recalls the past. Wendell still hears those noises, and the tiles on the bathroom floor seem to be being destroyed by zombies. Other side, a giant zombie is seen walking the city streets carrying a large axe. Luther guides Alice to the bathroom for shower, and after that he leaves. She hears a noise and tries to defend herself against possible attacks while arming herself. She finds Wendell hiding to see her in the bath. Suddenly, mutated zombies attack them with their open mouths, and Alice kills a few of them, but one of them attacks Wendell and takes it underground. Alice informs the others about this, and they feel a bad smell from that tunnel, so they realize that the end of it may be a sewer. On the other hand, fear and panic due to the invasion of zombies make the group anxious, and they all look for a way to escape from there. Alice presents them to Chris and offers to release him because only he knows the way out of here, and contrary to the agreement of the rest of Bennett, he is against his release. Anyway, she frees him, and after he comes out, he calls out to Claire and approaches her as if he knows her. Claire defends herself while Chris says he is her brother, but she doesn't remember anything. Alice advises that if he is her brother, he should wait until her memory recovers. They enter the building courtyard to escape, and Chris claims there is a room full of weapons in the UPV, an anti-riot system, and the way is through the water. At this moment, the giant zombie with his axe seems to break the entrance door with his heavy blows. After a division of duties, Claire and Luther put a car in front of the door to stop him. On the other hand, Alice, Chris, and Crystal search for the ammunition depot. Bennett, Kim Yeon, and Angel also go to the garage to get the tank out of there to escape from the zombies. Still, a barrier blocks the tank's exit, making it impossible for them to leave. Suddenly, Bennett kills Angel by shooting a gun in disbelief, and Young is shocked. After swimming with Crystal and Chris, which was a secret way, Alice reaches a corridor from where it ends in the ammunition room. Suddenly, a zombie grabs Crystal from behind and enters the water, and on the other hand, a herd of zombies attacks Alice and Chris. They escape to the ammunition room, where they encounter a pile of weapons and equip themselves with them. Outside, the car cannot prevent zombies from entering, and they break the top of the door and enter. Bennett is also seen on the roof escaping by Alice's plane. After everyone arrives to stop him, he finally manages to escape as everyone stares at him. Alice says her destination is Arcadia. At this moment, many zombies attack them. In this conflict, Alice sends the others down through the explosion of the elevator, and they land in the water. With a clever trick, she jumps down from the top of the roof through a cable and blows it up. When she arrives on the street, and many zombies surround her, she uses her shotgun to destroy zombies, and with Luther's help, she successively manages to escape from the zombies. After she joins the rest of the group, they decide to go down through the tunnel dug by the zombies to reach the beach. After Chris and Luther enter the tunnel, the giant zombie cuts Yeon in half with his axe. Alice and Claire get into a tough fight with him. At first, he attacks Alice, but Claire comes to her aid from behind, and finally, in a chase, Claire succeeds in knocking him down with a shotgun. But this doesn't kill him, and he throws his axe at them, who luckily survive by bending themselves, and then Alice kills him with a heavy shot to the head. After this fight, they join Chris and Luther by entering the tunnel. When leaving it at the last moment, unfortunately, a zombie attacks Luther from behind and the exit of the tunnel is closed with large stones. After finding no way to save him, they leave him and take a motorboat to Arcadia. Finally, they arrive on the ship's deck, where they see that Bennett did not land well because the plane exploded. They check the ship, but no one is there, and Chris realizes that the boats were thrown into the water 3 days ago since their message frequency was cut off. However, the system shows that there are still 2,000 people inside the ship, so they search the ship further. They reach a large door, and suddenly, Claire remembers everything from the past about Arcadia in Alaska, and it becomes clear that this is all a trap. After opening the door and entering, they face a large hall, and Alice realizes 2,000 people are under their feet. Claire accesses their compartment through a display system and picks up some of them. They find Kmart among them, and Claire says she will remove the smart spider from her body and asks Alice to save the others. A little further, Alice sees some bloody compartments, and by passing through another door, she enters another hall where military equipment can be seen. And after passing through this hall, she enters another hall that looks like everything ends here. There are some dead people, of which only a skeleton remains on the bed, and after passing the monitors at the end of this room, Wesker is sitting on a chair. He says finding her through the satellite system wasn't hard, and he knew Alice cared about her friends. His infected dogs come to him, and at this moment, Bennett disarms her with a gun behind her. Wesker claims that she is the only one the T-virus has successfully bonded with, so he plans to eat her and gain control over her. Alice doesn't give up and starts fighting him by hitting Bennett, but first, she has to destroy his dogs. Claire and Chris come to her aid, but from Wesker's point of view, eliminating them is easy for him. His conflict with them begins, but he has a very high speed and strength to defeat them. Unfortunately, they cannot defeat Wesker, and he delivers the final blow to them, throwing them into the compartment used for testing. On the other side, Alice destroys the dogs individually, but suddenly, Bennett attacks her with a knife. Luckily, she stabs Wesker in the head with the knife before he can eat her. A few moments later, Kmart comes to her aid and hits Bennett on the head with a shotgun, and on the other hand, it seems that Wesker is not dead yet and intends to eat Alice. Kmart quickly throws the shotgun at Alice and she destroys Wesker with a shot to the brain. Then she frees Claire and Chris, and they, out of spite for Wesker, pierce his body with repeated shots. After they leave, Bennett, who is still alive, asks them to open the door, but Chris ignores him, and when Bennett returns, it seems that Wesker is still not dead behind him. While Claire and Chris save the others, Wesker quickly leaves the place with his plane, and Alice asks them to leave immediately. Moving away from there, Wesker intends to destroy the Umbrella base in Tokyo. However, after activating the nuclear bomb, he realizes that the bomb is inside the plane itself, and the nuclear explosion destroys him. Alice laughs and tells them she doesn't want them to miss this scene. Luther also seems to have managed to escape from the zombies, and inside a tunnel from where the sea can be seen, he is still alive and kills 2 zombies. The survivors come on board the ship, and this time, Alice delivers a real rescue message that it is a safe area with enough shelter and food for everyone. But this is not the end of the story, and at the end of the movie, Umbrella planes are attacking the ship by its soldiers in large numbers, which we will discuss in the next episodes. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.